All right, everybody, welcome to One Nation of Sports Locker Magazine Extra. I'm your host, Kirk DeMars, and we've got a great program for you tonight. We have Mikala Huckabee from the Eldon Mustangs, and she's joining us. We're going to talk about her article in Sports Locker Magazine. We might even talk about how nice it was outside today. I was so excited for that weather after January and having snow on the ground for almost the entire month. I was definitely ready for that. I don't know about you guys. Anyway, we're going to talk to Mikala tonight, and I wanted to quickly pull up her article so you can take a look at it from the January-February issue of Sports Locker Magazine. As you can tell, she's got some really awesome pictures. We had a great time out there with her that day, and she just did a fantastic job. And we are just honored and privileged to be able to bring her story to you through Sports Locker Magazine. If you did not get a print copy, you can find one of those in Jefferson City at Hy-Vee, also at Downtown Book and Toy, Cal's Thriftway in California, CNR Market in Fulton. And if you just want to do digital, go to sportslockermagazine.com and you can pull up the digital issue and read Mikala's article as well as all the other student athletes. Absolutely love being able to spend time with them, let them tell their stories, and just have fun out there as we're doing the photo shoots. So, all right. I don't know about you guys, but I'm ready to go ahead and bring Mikala on here. So let's go ahead and do that. Hey, Mikala, how are you?
Hey, I'm good.
Well, good. You've got your state sweatshirt on. That's awesome.
Oh, this is for volleyball.
Okay. Well, you know, if you didn't say anything, then I would have not ever known. How have you been doing?
I've been doing pretty good. How about you?
Good. You've been working with the wrestling team right now, haven't you?
Yes,
Okay. What do you do
it's
for them?
really fun.
What do you do with them over there?
Um, I I make their videos
Hmm.
when they're wrestling, and I record them and I keep score and just take care of them
Yeah.
because everybody needs a little taken care of.
Exactly. You need taken care of too, right?
Oh yes, most
Yeah.
definitely.
Remind them of that. That when track and field comes around, that they remember that, and they say Mikala needs a little taken care
I will.
of. Okay. If you have to just cut out this little clip right here, and then you can share that with all of them, then that might go a long way. I don't know. We'll do that.
I will.
Why don't you go ahead and tell us about your article in Sports Soccer Magazine, and what did that mean to you, Mikala?
It meant like a lot to me to know that like people have seen my name and seen me and like they would understand like my story behind how much I work and how much I want for my team. Like I want a lot for my team. My team is my family, and just to know that there's just one more person on Eldon who can be recognized and can bring a bigger name to my school. That's like my big meaning for how much
Hmm.
I love that sports soccer magazine.
Well, we had a lot of fun coming out there and getting your photos taken care of. You worked with our photographer and designer, Katie Gill, which is also my daughter, and my son in law, Jay, who is the assistant editor. Now, Jay can be a little squirrely at times. How did all that go? How did the photo session and handling Jay, how did that go?
It went at first it was very very slow. It was the car crash and it was something. But once we got to the field and we took the photos, it was so much fun and they engaged with us a lot and they would talk to us and understand like why we care about the photo so much, and they were very very pleasing and very like happy, and I felt
Yeah.
very comfortable with.
Well, good. We're going to have to explain a little bit. You said car crash. So that would have been me. I had I was in the Sports Locker Mini Cooper. You guys were going to be meeting us over at the track, and I had Katie and Jay in
Yep.
the vehicle with me, and I pulled up to the stop sign right next to the school, and then this lady just came around the corner and just ran right into the front driver's side quarter panel, front end. I mean, just smashed it. And she did not see us because the sun was in her eyes. So, yes, that was the little car crash. And then they hopped in the car with you. You guys went on. You got started. I dealt with the accident report, and then I hobbled over there with the car, and I got to join you guys. So there was that.
Yeah,
It was a
that
memorable day in a lot of ways. Okay.
it was a very memorable day.
Yeah, it was a nice day out too, if I remember correctly. I mean, it was a little bit
It was
chilly, but
very
not too
nice.
bad. Yeah,
Yeah, the breeze was really nice and the sun hit you just on the right spot.
yeah. One thing that I really enjoyed was when I was there, and you were pretty much done with your part on one side of the track, and then we were walking down toward the other end where the high jump pit was, and all these kids were going by, and they were yelling at you, and came up and gave you a hug, and all sorts of. So that was really cool. Enjoyed seeing that.
Yeah, there were a lot of my little sister's friends running at that time,
Yeah.
and they all come over and hang out at my house, and they know me, so they were like, "Hello, Michaela," and
There was a
I
bunch
think
of them out there.
Cheyenne was the one who came up
Uh
and
huh.
hugged me.
Yep, I remember that name. Yep, absolutely. Uh, why don't you go into a little bit about your back injury? Because I want to talk a little bit about that. Because that was pretty difficult for you to go through. But tell us about what you had to do to get back to having the ability to compete. Share about the injury and what you had to do to get back to it.
Yeah, so I was doing off-season workouts with like the track team, and I would like box drop onto the ground, and I would have like a shooting pain like down my leg, my right leg, and like up my back, and I was like, "Coach, I like it really hurts." So I went to Mary the next day, and she was like, "Yeah, your hips are like out of line," and I was like, "Oh, that's not that's not good." So I had to do like a lot of hip, like, I don't know, like hip recovery stuff. And then it still didn't go away. And she would look at my back, and like, I'm pretty sure she said like there were two like discs like rotated.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I was so scared. I didn't like it. I was like, my back is my whole entire form for
Mm-hmm.
high jump. And I remember going home that night and just crying. I was like, no. And well, I went to Mary again the next day, and she like did this push pull stuff with my
Mm-hmm.
back, and it helped
She
realign them.
she trying
And
to
then
decompress, trying to do that
yeah,
decompress. Yeah.
yeah. And then after a little bit, she was like, okay, take this week and keep doing the workouts that she gave me. And she gave me things to stabilize my hips and my knees. Because, like, the whole reason my back was hurt was because my hips were unaligned,
Mm-hmm.
and, like, my knees and my ankles were also suffering from it.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to do, like, a lot of hip, knee, and ankle, like, reconstruction.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
One. I'm sorry. I was going to just say, why don't you go ahead and talk a little bit about Mary too? Just you know, who so people know who she is and just kind of what you appreciate about her.
yeah, Mary is the physical trainer at Eldon High School, and she, I love her so much. She's the most helpful and bright person you will ever meet, and she is so smart. And she like knows what she's talking about, and she will, even if she doesn't, she'll make you believe she does. And she will help you with anything, like any injury that you have, you just show up and she will help you. And doesn't matter how many kids is in her office, she will help every single one of them. And she's the best person you could ever ask for when it comes to a sports injury. And I'm
Sounds like
so
a
very
smart
grateful for
person.
her.
Yes, she sounds
Yeah.
smart. You know, if she doesn't know, she'll just make it up. I love that. That's good. Very good. So, since it's been a little bit of time since you had the injury and recovery from that, what type of things do you have to do now to maintain that strength in those muscles and um, those joints? What kind of things do you have to do?
I well, I'm in weights for like a class. So my mom just
I
texted
saw
me.
that. Yeah, I thought I'd put that up there. Hello,
Hey
Renee.
mom. And I I will obviously like put a belt on or anything if my back starts to hurt if I'm squatting, and like I just try to make sure it's as stable as possible and like push myself but not so much that it hurts again. And obviously I'll just like stretch whenever I really feel like it. Like I'll be laying in bed and I'll just stretch my legs or stretch my back or
Mm-hmm.
do something. And even in like a school desk, like those things are so uncomfortable. And I like bring my knee up to my chest and just try to stretch as much as I can.
Yeah, yeah. Because after you're sitting in there for a long time, it does begin to get a little uncomfortable, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Uh, why don't you talk a little bit about mentally what you kind of had to deal with? Your article, the title of it kind of explains a little bit. No more fear, just jump. Why don't you talk a little bit about that battle?
Um, sophomore year was like I could barely run my 4x4. I was having such a hard time, and I was just like, I was talking to my mom. I was like, I don't think I can run this 4x4 if I can't break 105. And she was just like, well, you're going to run it again. And I was like, okay. So at conference, I ran it again. And she told me, she was like, if I get stuck at 105, I'm going to get kicked off the 4x4 and one of our seniors was going to run it. And I was just like, okay. So I went out and I ran as fast as I could and I was stuck at 105. And I ended it and I just started bawling. And then my coach Eldridge, he comes up and he says, "You you don't have time to cry. You have a jump off to do." And I was just like, "Crap." So I was like, "Okay, no more fear. Just jump. Like that's all I can do. Just jump." And I was exhausted. My legs were tired, and like it was such like an amazing experience. Like the competition was just like amazing, and I had so much fun doing it. And then we had my team on the left side, and then we had Hallsville on the right, and just the teams being there watching because it was the last event.
Uh-huh.
Having the teams there watching was just like a whole different experience, and it
Well,
was just like I just have to jump because I'm tired.
I like that, and I do like what Coach Eldridge said. I probably could have used that with my daughter and possibly grandkids. You don't have time to cry.
Yeah,
You don't have time to cry. Just go, do it. I still could
it
probably
was.
use that.
Yeah. I always freak out about my steps because I'm such like, okay, my steps have to be perfect. And there's this one meet, I'm pretty sure it was sectionals, where my steps were so far and the mat was only like this long. And I started crying to Eldridge and I was like, I can't jump in the grass. And he asked the people if they could move it over a little bit because I was freaking out, and I was just like, I just have to jump.
That's good. Hey, Kaylee joined in and had a quick comment. She said, "You're doing so good. Always so proud, sissy."
Yeah,
Awesome.
that's my older sister.
Yeah, very good. Well, we're going to talk a little bit about family now. So I mean, that's a good transition. We'll go right into that. You mentioned in your article about Caden, your brother, being a role model and friend, and that you wanted to be just like him and follow in his footsteps. Talk about that a little bit.
My brother has always been so strong. Like he probably the strongest person I know. And when I was younger, I remember him telling me about high jump. And I don't remember like watching him all that much, but I remember watching him once jump on um like asphalt onto a mat, and now it's like we're running on a track to a mat with spikes, but he had to jump with tennis shoes, and he could still jump so high, and it was just like, that's amazing, like you look so cool, I want to do that. And he when I moved to Eldon, he was like, you should do track. And I was just like, okay. So I started eighth grade track, and I went to high jump, and I didn't know about spikes. I didn't know what spikes were because I always watched him with tennis shoes. So I went my whole eighth grade year with just tennis shoes, jumping high jump. And then I get to high school, and they're like, you need spikes.
Hmm.
So I got spikes, and then I got better, and I was just like, oh my goodness, I might be able to jump as high as my brother did one day. And well, he jumped like 6'5", so who knows if I could do that? But
There's time.
setting
There's
my
time.
standards high.
All right, we got a comment from Rowan McCormick. Said, "Good job. I love you." So, thank you, Rowan.
Oh, I love you too, Rowan.
We appreciate all those comments. Feel free to continue to do that, and also if you have different questions that if you want to ask, feel free to put them on there. And if I can work them in, we will try to do that. Just appreciate you guys joining us tonight. Make sure you're sharing things with your friends so that they can see Michaela's awesome interview and get to hear about all the really cool things that she's doing. So, all right, let's see. Mom's got something she's saying here, and we're going to put that on because we got to do that. She said, and she gets to high school, and her mom buys her the coolest spikes. It contributes to the jump. All the kids say so. Isn't that good?
That's really good.
Yeah. You got to make sure you remember that. You always got to give credit where credit's due.
Best
All right.
spikes ever. I think I still have them.
All right. That's good. You can have her. You can have her autograph them. How's that? That would be cool. Why
I'll
don't
have
you
her do
share?
that tonight.
Yeah. Why don't you share a little bit about your family dynamic? I mean, you talked about your brother. Why don't you talk about your family and then go into your mom and dad and share a little bit about them.
Yeah, I have pretty big family. Biological, I don't even know. I'd say a million, but that's not realistic. Um, I could just keep on naming off names, but that would last an eternity. So I'm just gonna say there's about 10 of us. Um, and in my new family, I have two siblings, and one, she's 12, and she's athletic powerhouse, and it's absolutely crazy and scary. And then the second, he's a little boy. His name's Luke, and he's a little goofball, little firecracker is what I call him. And he's also really good at sports.
Good. Why don't you go ahead and talk about Renee and Jimmy and how have they made an impact on you?
At first, I didn't know them, and I had no clue who they were. I just knew that Renee was my coach, and she was really funny and outgoing, And then her daughter comes to practice, and then Avery, she's just talking to me, and I'm hanging out with some of the seniors who Avery has hung out with all day, like every single year they've been here. And I'm just like, hi, I'm Mikala. And then Avery becomes my little best friend. And then I'm just like, you know what? Can I come over to your house? And so I come over, and then looks like I've never left. And then Jimmy, he is my dad, and just he always says I can't even remember life without Mikala. And he has always been here for me. He will stay up late until I get home, and anytime I'm having like a girl freak out session, he will be there through it all. And he will hug me when I cry, and he will hug me when I'm really, really excited. And he will always have the best words to say. And then Renee, oh, Mama, if you're watching this, you're scary sometimes. And she keeps me straight. She makes sure that I'm doing what I do best, and makes sure I never give up on anything I do, and she makes sure I have good grades. And just having people there, like in my corner, knowing that they're there, like having them beside me is just the best feeling. And they always make sure that I'm well taken care of, and it's and they're just the best people I could ever possibly ask for.
You gave me another phrase tonight, which could come in handy at times, I guess, too. A girl freak out session. I wonder how Jimmy does with maybe if all the girls are having a freak out session. I mean, what do you do then? Outnumbered.
He handles it pretty well.
Okay.
If I'm being honest. I mean, my mom and Avery, probably the biggest attitudes of us all, but he handles them pretty dang well.
Good. Very good. All right. We're going to go ahead and take our quick sponsor break. You've done an outstanding job, and again, encouraging everybody to jump right in and bring more comments. Let's see. Mom says Jimmy goes out to the farm. That's where he runs to. Smart man. Smart man. All right. Well, outstanding job. We'll be back in just a few minutes. We'll go ahead and do a quick sponsor break.
Services has been connecting employees with employers since 1977. Recently, CNS rebranded to CNS Employment Solutions to more clearly define their mission of serving the needs of applicants, employees, and businesses while remaining current and evolving with the changes in the workforce. One important thing has not changed. CNS Employment Solutions partners with a wide variety of employers, placing employees in jobs that match their skills and needs.
Say yes to CNS.
In this issue of Sports Locker magazine, check out the stories of these student athletes and so many more. You can find printed copies at these great supporters and online at sportslockermagazine.com. And don't forget, on Monday nights, watch One Nation and SLM Extra on Facebook and YouTube.
All right, we appreciate CNS CNS Employment Solutions. I got all messed up because I was watching the commercial and it had Mikala in it, so I just was thinking about that and got confused. But we appreciate CNS Employment Solutions for sponsoring this program as well as Sports Locker Magazine. They do an outstanding job making sure that people find jobs that need them, as well as employers filling those positions with people that need jobs. Also, Big Whiskeys is a sponsor of our Coach of the Issue, and we always want to call out and just say how much we appreciate our coaches. And Big Whiskeys is the sponsor of that. And in this issue, we have Coach Kaylin Collins from Capital City High School. And, our coaches put in a lot of time They put in a lot of effort. They spend time away from their families to pour into our student athletes and mentor them, challenge them to be the best that they can be as students and athletes. So we just really appreciate our Mid Missouri coaches, and we just want to say thank you to Big Whiskies for giving a shout out to them as well. All right, we have been doing an interview, One Nation, a Sports Locker Magazine Extra. We're getting a little bit extra. You can't get everything, can't get all those words that we need to get into the magazine. So that's why we do this, so we can get a little bit more for you guys to be able to dig into. All right, let's go ahead and bring Mikala in for the next half of the interview. Hey, you've been doing great. You didn't hang up on me.
I didn't hang up.
Thanks for doing an outstanding job, and we've had a lot of good comments, and we'll just continue to move on with that. And I got a little tongue-tied there a little bit ago because I had forgotten I had put your picture in on that commercial as well. So I said, oh, yeah, good. She's right there. And then I forgot what I was saying. So, oh, well, you try, and then you fail, and you just got to get up and try again, right?
You do.
All right.
No good in just giving up.
That's right. We mentioned about coaches. Why don't you go ahead and talk a little bit about your coaches and how they've helped develop you, and how they've challenged you to be better as a student athlete?
Oh Lord, I got a lot of coaches that I care about. So there's obviously my mom. She has impacted me the most. She has pushed me to do everything I do, and she keeps me straight. And then there's Taylor Wall. She's the throwers coach at Eldon High School, and she's amazing. And she's like also one of my best friends. She's my math teacher. She never lets me give up. She always makes sure I'm healthy and good to go before any race. And I always look forward to hearing her say like anything to me before I have to run or jump. And then there's Coach Reed, who is our long distance coach, and she just pushes me way too much sometimes. And it's amazing to have her. She's a really good coach. And there's Coach Lyons, who is my volleyball coach, and she always makes all of us girls run and do everything so we're good and ready for a game, and she makes sure that we're all good. And then there's obviously Coach Eldridge, who he's my jumpers coach. I'm around him the most, and he always has things to say, and he's always honest, and sometimes he pushes me to where I don't want to be pushed, and then he makes me cry. But that's okay, because I'm allowed. And he definitely makes a big difference. And there's Sydney Prater, who she moved to Jeff City, but I just loved her. She was so amazing. She always made me laugh, and she made me smile, and she always kept the place happy when she was around. And it was just a whole different experience when she was around. And am I forgetting any coaches? I think, Rona Prater. She's also a volleyball coach, and she always makes sure that I'm okay. She's one of my favorites.
Well,
I say that about everybody, but that's okay.
Very good. You brought up again, Coach Eldridge makes you cry, and I was just again thinking you don't have time to cry. So I'm that's stuck there now. I'm just telling you. I love it.
Yeah.
So talk about track and field, and what have been some of your accomplishments and favorite memories?
My freshman year, we went to state for the 4x4. And when I was a freshman, I just went out and ran. I didn't really think about it. I just was like, okay, well, I'm just going to run because I'm good at it. So let's see how it goes. And we got 8th at state, and probably one of my favorite teams like just the girls that were on the 4x4, they always made sure that each other were good and ready to run, and they always looked out for you, no matter like if you were getting talked down to, or if it was just a like, oh my gosh, are you feeling okay, like one of those. And they always made sure that we were okay. And sophomore year was a lot bigger. Sophomore year, um I was conference champion for high jump, and it was a whole different experience. That will probably be my favorite memory of all 4 years. And it was like just completely out of this world, like nothing I had ever experienced before. And I had my team on my side, and then I had the Hallsville team on the other side, and they were all like they were cheery for me and for like their girl. And just like winning it was so amazing. But then like I obviously like felt so bad for the other girl, and I was just like, I have to give her a hug. Like I have to. Like we just jumped for like what, 6, 7 extra jumps, and I was just like, she's probably exhausted. I'm exhausted. Like it doesn't matter who deserved it, because we both deserved it. If I could, I would share a first place, but we went for a jump off. And I was just like, I have to give her a hug. And so I went over and I gave her a hug, and then we did our victory lap, like our team, and oh, I was exhausted. I don't think I could run that extra lap, but I did. And then I made it through districts and sectionals, and I went to state, and I got 6th place at state for high jump. And it was a whole different experience, and it was so much fun.
Yeah.
And well, now it's my junior year, and I haven't started, but I'm aiming to get 5'5". So let's hope I can jump that this year.
It's your personal best, I think you said, was 5'1". Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm still 0.4 below, but that's okay, because
Yeah.
I can jump.
You'll get there. And say, Papa Rodney is on here. So.
Oh no.
Welcome, Papa Rodney. Glad to have you. All right. So you talked a little bit about going into your junior year as far as track and field. Talk about some of the other events. I mean, you talked about high jump. You talked about 4x400. What are all the events that you do, and what have you enjoyed about those?
Those are the only 2 events that I've done.
Okay.
I used to run the Open 4, but I'm not really good at that. Staying in my lane is not one of my strong suits. My eyes do not cooperate that way, and I always step out of my line, so that's kind of sad. But so I don't know if I'll be doing that this year, but hopefully I get better.
Yeah.
And I've only really done the 4x4 and high jump.
Yeah. What leg do you usually run on the 4x4?
I usually run second. I love cutting in. Like to run in my lane for the first 100 and then to cut in is like my favorite thing.
Yeah. See, that's why you have a hard time running in your lane, because you're used to cutting in. Right there.
That's true.
So, talk about your strategy that you typically do when you're running the 400. There's different ways that people do it, and are you somebody that just goes all out the entire time, or do you have a strategy of starting out fast and coasting and then finishing strong?
My strategy, it kind of fluctuates on how I feel. Like I always want to get out strong, and I try to get out as strong as I can, and then to cut in, I usually try to like coast and just like stride out and make sure I'm still like flying. And then right when I hit like that 200 mark, I try to and build up more, and then I'm rounding the corner, and then as soon as I hit that 100, I just try to sprint as fast as I can.
Very
Um,
good.
doesn't mean it always happens because I do get really tired, but that's okay.
If somebody's never run that race, yes, it is a very hard race. I mean, that will sap the strength right out of you.
It
Why don't you tell
does.
us a little bit about your relationships with your teammates? What experiences have you enjoyed with them?
My teammates are like my whole family. It just makes me so happy just being able to just go to practice. And I, my freshman year, I really just was like, I just want to be here, have fun, and do what I love. And then I got really close to a lot of the girls, and I was like, oh my goodness, they actually know my name. And I was just like, this is so much fun. And it led me back my sophomore year to have all the girls around me again. Like they're my family.
Mm-hmm.
And my sophomore year, I was just like, I wanted to step up and I wanted to like be the person who could show every other girl, like the freshmen who were coming in or the new people, that had never done track before. And I just wanted to like show them like, hey, like this is a fun place. Like this is so much fun. Like you should come back.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to be like the seniors were to me when I was a freshman, even though I was a sophomore.
That's important, though. I mean, you're developing leadership skills. Even during that time throughout your career, and I mean, it's important. Being able to build up your teammates, and they'll be able to trust you that much more as you move on into these next 2 years. So it'll be good.
Yeah, I don't know, something about showing people how to do things. It just makes me so much more happier, and being able to like lead my team. It's like, dang, everybody's weight is on my shoulders, but I kind of like it.
Well, good. That's awesome. That's what a leader does. So very good. Um, why don't you talk a little bit? I mean, we talked a little bit before the program started. You have played volleyball. Why don't you just talk a little bit about that and um, what that means to you and your coaches there?
My freshman year was my first year ever playing volleyball, so it was really just like a fill-in sport to have fun and keep me occupied when I have nothing else to do. So I did volleyball my freshman year, and I was like, okay, this is pretty fun. And I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do it again next year. So I did it sophomore year, and I was like, this is like, I love when I do great. I love when I am doing really good, and games are so much fun. And I don't know, something about keeping a ball off the ground. It's very entertaining, even when I'm like out of breath and I just want to sit on the floor or something. I think playing volleyball is pretty fun. And then this year, this year was very different because we had no seniors and Pawpaw.
We'll get to that in a
And
moment.
so I I Pawpaw, you made me forget what I was saying.
You're right. You were talking about seniors, so but you're
Oh
okay. We
yeah.
can trip.
So we had no seniors this year, so it was very much dependent on the juniors to be leaders. And since I wasn't like the greatest on the team, I was just like, I'm gonna let like Audrey or Emma and all the other people who are normally leaders for our volleyball team, like the ones who have showed themselves more for the volleyball team. I
Mm-hmm.
let them lead, and they're so supportive. Like, they're probably the greatest team ever. I think our team's probably the best team. Just
Awesome.
saying.
Awesome. All right, now we're going to get to Papa Rodney's question. Ask her about the quarter track she did last Thanksgiving, or the quarter trick she did last Thanksgiving.
Yeah, so my papa, he got a quarter and he got not a mechanical pencil, but he made sure there was a pencil that had lead, and he circled the quarter, and the lead got on the sides of the quarter.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't notice because I didn't know the trick. So, and he drew it on a piece of paper, and he was like, if you put this quarter on your head and you roll it down your nose and
Uh-huh.
drop it into this circle and it lands perfectly, I'll get you, I forget how much money he said, but he said like $20.
Uh-huh.
And I was like, okay. So I roll it down my face and I drop it and it just goes flying. And then I do it multiple times, and he he was like, okay, now go look at yourself in the mirror. So
Mm-hmm.
I stand up and there's a mirror right here at my eyesight. And just a big black line on my
Mm-hmm.
face.
Yep.
And yeah, it was definitely something. They called it the welcome into the Melges family or something.
Uh-huh.
And I was very welcomed.
Well, I do have to ask a question of Rodney because I know a Rodney Nilgis, and I want to know if this is the Rodney Nilgis I know. If not, I appreciate your humor, but if it is, I just wanted to do a shout out and say hi. So, all right, let's go on to the next one while we wait for that. Um, let's see. What have you enjoyed about attending Eldon High School, and what would you like to say about your teachers and administration?
I think they're amazing. Like, I've been to multiple different schools, and this one, I was just like, I don't want to leave. Like, I felt so like at home when I came to this school, and from eighth grade to now, it like I still don't want to leave. Although sometimes I get mad or I want to leave the school because I don't want to be at school, but I always come back because it's such like a great experience, and I love all my teachers. Like, all my teachers have made me feel so appreciated and so like comfortable in their class. And I think I love all my teachers. They're all amazing. And the principal and all the people in the office, they're so much fun to talk to because they always make you laugh, even though sometimes they can be scary. But they always make you laugh and they make you feel comfortable in Eldon High School, and it's amazing.
Yeah. Well, I got the answer to my question too. Your mom says our little cousins are Hudson and Hannah Nilgis. I'm sure you know them. Yes, I do. They were in my youth group when I was leading youth group over at First Assembly, and got to know them very well. Loved them very much. But I also played softball occasionally. Um, it was a couple times with Rodney and occasionally against Rodney, and he was very good at hitting softball. So just doing a shout out for him. You know, he's got to have those moments where he can remember that. Okay, just make sure you say, "I hear you were a legend on the softball field."
I'll text them right after this.
All right, good. All right, so we got Bailey says this is so sweet. Thank you for joining us. That's awesome. Thank you, Bailey. And then your mom said Bob is her first cousin. So, yep, I love the Nilgis family. All right, let's see one more question, and then we're going to get into a quick speed round. Just find out some fun stuff from you. What are some of the plans that you have remaining for this year, and then going into your senior year?
If you asked me this a week ago, I wouldn't know. But that's exactly what Coach Wall would say. She'd be like, if you asked her that a week ago, you wouldn't get a good answer. Um, but I want to go into sports medicine. I think sports medicine has drawn to me more than any other thing. And hanging out with Mary, it's like I love what she does, and I love how she entertains kids. Even though she is supposed to be helping them, she helps them mentally and physically. And being able to do that would be so much fun. And after this, I am really just hoping to get a scholarship for track and field to whichever college. I just want a scholarship for track and field because I don't want to stop doing the sport that I love in such a short time.
Very good. Well, you've done an outstanding job. Great interview. You've had me smiling the whole time, so that's awesome. I mean, I love your personality and your so you just make people smile. So that's awesome. Now I know why all those kids were coming over and giving you a hug on the track when we were out there doing the photo shoot. So, all right. Well, let's go ahead and have a little bit of fun. I'm going to ask you a few speed round questions and wanted to know, what is your favorite go-to snack or meal after you're done with a track event?
Ooh, I don't know. Probably Taco Bell.
Taco Bell? Okay, specifically, what is like, this is what I'm really hungry for, or you have multiple things?
Oh my goodness. For like, I don't know, for a snack, I'd probably say either Reese's peanut butter cups or purple Doritos. But from Taco Bell, a grilled cheese steak burrito.
Okay, there you go. That's awesome. Favorite ice cream?
Moose Track.
And from what place?
Anywhere. It could be store-bought. Moose Track is so good.
You don't care, just as long as it's Moose Tracks.
Moose Track is the best.
Okay. Well, this question, you may have already been there because you just got done with a very nice trip, and I'll have you talk about that. But if there's anywhere in the world that you could go, where would that be and why?
Ooh. I don't know. Hawaii was pretty nice.
Yeah.
I could go there again.
What, did you get to do any fun things as far as going out on the ocean, stuff like that?
We went to go watch whales. Like, we went on a whale boat watching thing. And even though I did get boat sick, I did see some whales and some dolphins. Okay. Sickness wasn't the greatest, but that's okay. Yeah. So I still got to see whales and dolphins.
So did you get sick when the boat anchored, or was it just moving, period?
I don't even know. We were watching this whale, and we were just sitting there. And, like, we were still, like, moving, but, like, just, like, in this spot watching the whale. And I was like, ugh. And I wanted to puke. I went and sat down in the shade because it was so hot. And I sat down, and one of the crew members came up, and he was like, "Do any of you guys need some water?" And I was like, "I do."
Oh, that's awesome. My wife, when we went to California for a manager's meeting years ago when I was managing a Golden Corral, we got to pick out something that we wanted to do, and I wanted to go out deep sea fishing. So she, of course, was loving her husband, and we went out there and we did that. And her and this 6'5" very large man, every time the boat would anchor, they would get seasick, and they would have to go off in different places and lay down in the cabin. And when the anchor came up and started moving again, they were fine. It was just kind of, I felt bad for her, but it was also kind of funny just seeing the two of them, and then all of a sudden they're out there and fine. And she did not try we had a sushi. The guy cut up a herring while we were out there, and she did not try that. And I will actually say that's not the same sushi that you have around here, so I didn't care for it.
I do not like seafood. Seafood is not my favorite. I don't like any kind of fish or anything.
Okay, that's my wife doesn't like
there's
fish
my
either.
Mimi.
We had to make sure Mimi's on there. All right. All right. What would you say if you were to compare yourself to a superhero? Which one would that be? You're out on the track.
There's so many different ones I could say, but let's say the Hulk.
The Hulk. Okay.
The
Now
Hulk has always been my favorite ever since I was little, and I don't know, green's my favorite color. He's really strong, and I'm really strong, and I just think when he turns back to his human form, that's me. His human form, he's like just a regular guy, and then there's me, just a regular girl, and then when he turns into his big green Hulk person, that's me when I'm about to jump.
Okay. So this is going to contrast greatly with what your mom said. So we're going to put that up here real quick. From Tinkerbell to Hulk. That's a pretty big change right there.
I'm a little bubbly.
That's great. Like I said, you've had me smiling the whole time. All right, this is the very last one, I promise, and it's probably the most important question of the entire interview. And what is your least favorite chore to do around the house, and why?
Oh my gosh, dishes. Can't stand them.
Okay, so this is going to tell a lot about you. Do you have a dishwashing machine, or you have to do them by hand?
Oh, we have a dishwashing machine.
Okay.
I just don't like putting them in there.
All right. Well, that's a whole different level of having to wash them by hand. I'm just saying. Well, Mikala, you have done an outstanding job. I've really enjoyed having you on here tonight. I'm going to have you hold on after we get done, so I'll close out the program just so I can quickly visit with you afterwards. But any final words that you want to give, or any shout-outs you want to give before we close out?
Shout out to Coach Eldridge for giving me a good pep talk this morning.
Very good.
Really needed it. I was a little nervous, but
You've done great.
I'm feeling pretty good.
You've done great. Like I said, Tinkerbell to Hulk. You've done an outstanding job. And you don't have time to cry. I've learned a lot of stuff tonight, okay?
I have no time to cry.
Good. All right. Well, Mikala, again, thank you very much. I'll visit with you right after I'm done closing out, but outstanding job, and I'm very honored to have you in the magazine.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys so much for joining us tonight on One Nation of Sports Soccer Magazine Extra. We had a great interview with Mikala Huckabee, and just want to make sure that you know that you can share that with your friends. Make sure other people are able to see her good interview as well, just to get to know a little bit extra about her. You can go to our Sports Soccer Magazine website and see the digital edition of the magazine. And when I get done with this program, I'm going to upload it to YouTube, and that way you can check it out on there as well. Appreciate you joining us. I hope you guys have a great evening. It was really fun having all of the different comments. Thank you, Renee, Rodney, all the others that have joined in. Guys done an outstanding job with this young lady, and looking forward to what she's going to do next. All right, I'm your host, Kirk DeMars. Until next week, God bless you, and we will see you then.